gave to them 9 rings of power.
Power.
One by one, falling into darkness. And now they...
The Dark Lord Sauron forged in secret a master ring.
7. The one who will lead Mordor's armies in war.
Sauron, the Dark Lord.
A cruel and cunning sorcerer. They called him
Sometimes, his
Sauron.
most ruthless weapon is not a bloodthirsty orc horde, but ultimatums. Right at the Black Gate, when holding a certain military victory, Sauron unexpectedly holds out a poisonous olive branch. He offers conditions to spare the lives of the free peoples. Why does a cruel being like Sauron suddenly want to negotiate? What deadly traps does that treaty contain that make even a wise wizard like Gandalf shudder? And what is the truth behind the sinister smile of the mouth of Sauron? Welcome to the Mythos Archive. Let's uncover this truth together. These are the conditions, the messenger said, breaking into a sinister smile as he swept his eyes over each person one by one. The rebels of Gondor and their deluded allies must immediately withdraw to the other bank of the Anduin River, first having to swear never to use weapons to attack Sauron the Great again, whether openly or in secret. All lands east of the Anduin River will forever belong to Sauron. West of the Anduin River, stretching to the Misty Mountains and the Gap of Rohan, will be a tributary region of Mordor. The men there are not allowed to bear arms, but will have the right to internal self-governance. However, they must help rebuild Isengard, the place that they have wantonly destroyed. That place will belong to Sauron, and his lieutenant will reign there. Not Saruman, but one more worthy of trust. Returning to reality, it is clear right from the start that we all know these conditions do not bring any benefit to the free peoples at all. They were created by Sauron to serve himself. However, I think that these conditions were much lighter compared to what he intended to impose before the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. This shows that Sauron had at least begun to respect and understand the strength of the faction of men a little more. But he still believed that he was holding the upper hand. Furthermore, Sauron was assuming that Aragorn was holding the One Ring, and possibly Aragorn would use it to fight back if he forced him too much. Even so, ultimately, the only thing Sauron really cared about was getting the ring back and winning. So, if the free peoples really accepted the compromise, what would the picture of Middle-earth look like? Would there be any ray of light for them? But before analyzing the terms, we cannot ignore Sauron's most cruel psychological attack. Right before reading the treaty, the mouth of Sauron threw out Frodo's mithril chainmail shirt and Sam's sword. He wanted Aragorn and Gandalf to believe that the ring-bearer had been captured and tortured to death. Sauron did not negotiate with equals. He negotiated with those whom he believed were completely shattered in terms of hope. Offering the treaty right at the moment the opponent's psychology was most collapsed is exactly the peak manipulation art of the Dark Lord. And after brushing that fog of threat aside, these are the real blades hidden within the treaty. First, withdrawal and disarmament. The order here is that all Western forces must retreat behind the Anduin River. If looking at the map, retreating that deep means that they must abandon a massive territory: Mirkwood Forest, the Dwarven Kingdom of Erebor, and also Lake Town Esgaroth. Even harsher, although being self-governing, they are not allowed to bear arms, meaning all of Sauron's enemies must completely give up their defense capabilities and right to resist. This brings an absolute advantage for Sauron, both completely exhausting the opponents and seizing countless fertile lands. He wants to send a clear message. You cannot save Erebor or Mirkwood. Those lands are now mine. At the same time, the Western faction must officially swear an oath never to take up arms against Sauron again. For the Free Peoples, an oath is something extremely sacred. Becoming an oathbreaker is a fatal disgrace. Meanwhile, Sauron does not make any oath at all about him disarming. He gets stronger, they get weaker. A completely unfair treaty. And if they are disarmed, how will they protect their homes against the attacks of the barbarians of Dunland or the orc and goblin packs in the mountains? Clearly, this clause alone is already a slow death sentence. Second, annexation and territorial division. The entire east of the Anduin River belongs to Sauron forever. This is synonymous with erasing the fruits of centuries of bloodshed that Gondor has preserved, from Ithilien to Osgiliath and Minas Morgul. West of the Anduin River will become tributary vassals, subject to the rule of the Mouth of Sauron from the Tower of Orthanc. Rohan will have to pay tribute with their best war horses, while Gondor will have to hand over its entire treasury of knowledge and secrets. It sounds like they get free self-governance, but with the Mouth of Sauron reigning right at Isengard, that freedom is merely a cover for a harsh colonial regime. And there is an extremely chilling detail in this territorial division clause. It absolutely does not mention the fate of the Elves. Rivendell, Lothlorien or Lindon do not get to enjoy self-governance like men. Why? Because in Sauron's eyes, men can be enslaved, herded as tools, but the elven race must be exterminated. The silence of the treaty is exactly the most cruel death sentence for the civilization of the Firstborn. Third, forced labor. The Free Peoples must provide manpower to rebuild Isengard, compensating for the damages that the Ent Tree people race caused. This is a psychological attack aimed at humiliating them. They must build the throne with their own hands for the dictator who rules them. But even if they accept all this humiliation, will Sauron keep his word? As Gandalf called him in the work, the base master of treachery. Sauron once betrayed even the Valar gods from the dawn of time. So what meaning does a paper treaty with mortal men have to him? Sauron lays out these terms because he is not 100% certain of a military victory if Aragorn is actually using the One Ring. That doubt and fear always exist within him. He once misjudged the strength of Gondor, once mistakenly thought that Isildur's bloodline was extinct. This ceasefire is actually just a way for Sauron to buy time. He wants to re-establish order, consolidate his forces. He knows that time is endless for him, whereas for men, elves, or dwarves it is not. But the most interesting thing about this event is, it is a life and death game of poker, where both sides are bluffing each other. Sauron fools the Western faction that he has captured Frodo. On the contrary, Aragorn and Gandalf are also fooling Sauron. By marching a tiny handful of troops right to Sauron's door, Aragorn makes the Dark Lord believe that he is being blinded by the power of the ring. Sauron offers the treaty to buy time, while Aragorn stands patiently listening to the negotiation also to buy time for Frodo to climb Mount Doom. That is truly the greatest battle of wits of the Third Age. Did Sauron really expect them to agree? Probably not. He was ready to crush them with force. But if they weakly accepted, Sauron would have a satisfied laugh atop the Tower of Barad-dûr. He could enjoy the greatest victory without needing to lose a single additional orc. Accepting these terms is synonymous with accepting a lingering defeat. The Free Peoples would increasingly wither away without an inch of iron in their hands, only to finally kneel and call Sauron the God-King of Middle-earth. Therefore, the Free Peoples did the most correct thing, rejecting them absolutely. Gandalf stood up to unmask the mouth of Sauron, reclaimed Frodo and Sam's mementos, and chose the path of holding his head high to face the darkness. From this story, Tolkien leaves us with a profound philosophy. We must reject evil at every moment, even when hope seems the most fragile. Thank you all so much for watching. What do you think about these ceasefire conditions and the battle of wits with the mouth of Sauron? Let me know down in the comments section. If you love this content, do not forget to support the channel so we have more motivation to make more in-depth videos. Goodbye and see you again in the next episodes on the Mythos Archive.